Hey guys, it's Weesey here. Today, I'm showcasing a script by Cantaloupe that allows you to fly the Pelican and Phantom in Halo Reach with just game type mods. So I'm gonna walk into the zone here, and I'll be placed into the Pelican, or the Phantom. And these are the real Phantom and Pelican. As you can see with the Pelican here, I can move up, I can move down, and I can move forward, and you'll see that the thrusters respond appropriately. And as for the Phantom, I can actually boost and I can go through geometry just like the Phantom in the campaign. Of course, I die if I go inside the map. This script also extends to the Phantom turret, so now we can operate the Phantom turret just like we already can with the Pelican turret. It's cool that you can actually see out of the Phantom turret, although being blinded by the concussive shots is not very fun. One thing worth noting is that the Pelican is technically destructible, but it has no destroyed state. And on top of that, when a player is piloting the Pelican, it appears to be invincible. However, although the Pelican cannot die when a player is piloting it, its health does decrease, and we can use that to detect when the Pelican should die and destroy it as appropriate. The Phantom is a little bit different. The Phantom can be destroyed, but the multiplayer version of the Phantom that we use has a damaged state, although the damaged state isn't complete, and so when it reaches said state, it just turns into that. Fortunately, this is a simple fix, as we can just destroy the Phantom manually when it reaches this state. As expected, the Phantom turret can also be destroyed, and this will immediately delete the guy who's operating the turret. And while this will normally respawn him, if you're playing with bro spawning on, this actually breaks his spawning. It's worth noting that the Pelican, and only the Pelican, has a weird flag tag that doesn't allow the driver to use vehicle cannons. So in essence, this prevents the Pelican from being able to use its own nose gun. And while another player can use that nose gun, it's not very practical, and so the Pelican is relegated to a transport vehicle as opposed to a dogfight vehicle. So, how the script works is that we take a dummy vehicle, attach that vehicle to the player, and then try to force the player into that vehicle. Since the game can't actually do this because the vehicle is already attached to the player, if we then detach the vehicle and attach the player to the vehicle we want to get into, that being the Pelican or the Phantom, the player will enter the Pelican or Phantom instead, thereby bypassing the seat restriction. We also have to then update the seat to allow the player control of the Pelican, so we repeat the process with a different biped, except we just detach him from the vehicle after, thereby updating the seat. Since we bypass seat restrictions doing this, we can use this script to enter other seats we otherwise can't, such as the side seats on the Scorpion. Unfortunately, most of these seats are broken and don't work well for players. In the customs browser, players will see the correct animations for these seats, which most of the time results in the Spartan T-posing or A-posing or just being stuck in place. Unfortunately, trying to enter the seats of the Troop Hog, the Troop section, will crash the game, for reasons I don't know yet. And so will trying to enter a vehicle with no valid seat, such as the Shade Turret Base, or the Scorpion Cannon's Cannon. In theory, you should be able to use this with map mods as well, and enter other vehicles that you otherwise can't. And for those who are wondering, the scenery vehicles found in the Thorage section of Forge World and Breakneck are just scenery objects, they are not vehicles. Bypassing seat restrictions also has some unintended side effects.
5 minutes remaining.
Yep, it's the clown car. Players in the same seat works too. Players split controls, so with the tank here for example, one player drives and one player controls the cannon. Usually both players have independent camera control, though in some cases, like the Saber here, one player controls the camera for both players, which is very odd because the player that controls the camera is not in control of the Saber. For the detachable turrets, one player controls the turret but can't detach it, while the other player has no control but can detach the turret, When stacking 2 players in a passenger seat, both players have independent control of their weapons and grenades, and meleeing will cause you to melee the other player in the seat with you. But, on to the big question, how many things can you stack in a single seat? And I don't think there's actually a limit for the number of unmanned bipeds you can stack, so you can do something like this. Now, there may be a limit to the number of players you can stack in a single seat, but I have yet to find one. I managed to test with 3 players and found that controlling a warthog results in one player having no control, while the other 2 players have split controls. And that's most of what I found in regards to this concept. If you want to pilot some Phantoms and Pelicans, there's a game type and map on Cantaloupe's file share that'll let you do so. I'll definitely be adding these to my Desert Bus mod whenever I finish that. But for now, see you guys.